AEW All In Texas. It's going to be a great show.
Ah, yes, good old-fashioned WWF-style predatory practices. Squash the competition, squish them like a bug, rub them out, get in their face, block them, cause them headaches, interfere everywhere that you plausibly can with plausible deniability. It's been the strategy that Vince McMahon was the master at this craft. And of course, he would have passed that knowledge on to Triple H, whether directly or just Triple H observing it. He's a smart guy. He can pick up on those kind of tricks. But was that really the intention? Did WWE really try to go head-to-head with AEW All In just to rain on their parade? Shit in their sink or whatever the metaphor, I don't know what they call it anymore. Was that really what was going on though? Perhaps it was. And if it was, LOL, right? I mean, it's a sweet troll job, but all in all, it could just be, just the way the schedule booked out, because they plan these things in advance and they got to work around the UFC events and scheduling, all that other kind of stuff. So maybe it was just a coincidence, according to Eric Bischoff. Check out this clip from 83 Weeks.
Saturday night's main event, live on NBC and on Peacock, is going to be head-to-head with AEW's Double or Nothing. It's also going to be head-to-head with AEW All In, their very first stadium show in the suburbs of Dallas and Arlington, Texas, live on NBC for free and on Peacock.
This kind of a move, if indeed it was designed intentionally and not just a manifestation of weeks worth of programming and planning and ad sales influences and sports and blah, blah, blah. There's a million things that go into programming a schedule. On the surface, I'm laughing my ass off because, it's a ballsy move, but I don't see them taking it. I don't see them being NBC or WWE putting themselves at any kind of legal exposure for predatory practices, because that's just fun in a way. There's AEW financially is not a threat to anybody or anything. They're operating in their own universe and it's fulfilling the owner's goals. And it really doesn't have anything to do, with the exception of some talent transitions from time to time, but there's even less of those now for the moment. But so I can't see NBC or WWE or TKO going, okay, let's kick him.
So Bischoff doesn't see AEW as much of a threat to WWE, to where WWE would need to risk any sort of legal trouble to troll AEW, or just to rain on their parade, to piss in their Cheerios, if you will. I mean, it's funny, and Triple H would do that, it's not above them. I'm sure they've done it before. They have done it before. They have counter-programmed with AEW. They've done it with NXT plenty. And I don't know this legal trouble that Bischoff is talking about. I mean, Vince sued the fuck out of Eric Bischoff every chance he could, so maybe that's where that's coming from, but it's not predatory practices to have a TV show on the same night that they're having a pay-per-view. They're not even on TV that night. They're on pay-per-view. So it's completely different. It's not even in the same universe. There's zero predatory practices. WWE could take that fight all day long. AEW wouldn't even try it. So that's laughable to me that he would even go there. But I think he's onto something. That what's the point even? Like, AEW is so not a threat at this point, but All In is their biggest show. You know, it's their biggest show of the year, hopefully. They're trying to get it to be, right? Their biggest show in the United States. They're trying to fill a stadium. That is a kick in the balls, whether it's predatory or not, and that would hold up in court, or whether it was on purpose or not. It's a kick in their balls nonetheless. How do you deal with it? Well, Conrad, the ultimate low-key troll, by the way. Conrad is the one out stirring all this shit up. Stirred this up with Eric Bischoff. Now he's stirring it up with JBL on Something to Wrestle, who's doing a great job, by the way. I really am loving Something to Wrestle with JBL. We've had years of Bruce Pritchard. I'm not even mad if he doesn't come back to the show, and we just keep the show with JBL because it's been that good. If you haven't checked out JBL on Something to Wrestle, you really, 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 really should. And I got a little clip for you here as Conrad stirring the pot, asking JBL, what would you do in this situation if you were Tony Khan? Would you hold steady or would you change the date to the next day? Here's what JBL had to say.
Dave Meltzer's on record as saying Tony ought to consider moving the AEW pay-per-view to Sunday. Of course, there couldn't be a Saturday night's main event on a Sunday. I mean, maybe there could, but that would be tough to market that way. But Meltzer even suggests that if he leaves it on Saturday, he could cost AEW 30,000 buys. Well, not he could, but WWE being head-to-head could potentially cost 30,000 buys. That felt like a huge number to me. What would you do? Would you keep it on Saturday and let's do battle head to head with Saturday night's main event? Or would you try to see if you could move it to Sunday, John?
I'd move it. This is not WCW. I mean, this is, you don't have Goldberg, you don't have Hogan, and no offense to those guys in there. You get some great stars. Kenny Omega, Moxley, Cope now, Edge, Adam Copeland. You got some great stars, but WWE is the machine. WWE is by far the 800-pound gorilla. It's not a equal competition because WWE is so much bigger, and I would move it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find a reason not to move it. I know you've already announced it, and I know you've sold 10-something thousand tickets, but it does feel like, the avalanche of revenue is going to come in on international pay-per-view as well, and I might want to move it. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I do want to.
By the way, wait till you see how they load this show on Saturday Night Main Event.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
They're going to load this show like it's a WrestleMania. I love this competition. This is one of the oldest things in the world in the wrestling business. You saw it back in the territory days. You saw it in the first TV days. You saw it in the first pay-per-view days. This is the oldest competition in the world, and they're going to load this Saturday Night Main Event like it's WrestleMania. This is going to be a hell of a show.
Yeah, that'll be a key tell, as well as if that Saturday night's main event is particularly must-see. Big time feel, like a Raw Netflix type, big time match being given away on free TV, must see kind of shit. My guess is that they are competing with All In. I don't think they would bother to troll, a Dynamite, or, they do compete with Collision regularly, I guess, but it's unfortunate. Dates are going to bump into each other from time to time. But All In was booked a year ago, and this one was not. And there was zero thought given to should we not do the show on the same night as AEW's big pay-per-view. And this will only hurt AEW's pay-per-view. Would I move? If you do, you look like a bitch, but God, you don't want to hurt. This is your biggest show of the year. Saturday night's main event is not as grand as AEW's WrestleMania stadium show. So, you could also argue that AEW will take away a lot of viewers from Saturday night's main event in reverse. That could also happen. It just depends what kind of card that Saturday night's main event puts together for that show, because AEW is not the super hottest right now. Let's see what kind of hype they got going into All In, what the ticket sales actually look like for the stadium, and what kind of card WWE looks to put together for that show. This is interesting. You can't say WWE hasn't done it in the past and is above doing it now. So interesting to see. It's just kind of depends on whether you think AEW is worth it at this point. For my money, any normal everyday show or even a regular pay-per-view, no. But All In, perhaps it is. Perhaps it is worth kicking them in the nuts a little there. But let me know your thoughts down in those comments below. Peace, love, and pizza. I am your boy, Seth Grimes, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bro, thanks for checking out the video. You can find more great videos by hitting the subscribe button. And bro, while you're down there, hit that like button, leave a comment, and all of that other crap. Bro.